we have Hometrack's Director of Research with us, Richard Donnell. Thank you very much for coming in. So house prices have been falling for months now. Would you characterise what we're seeing in the UK property market right now as a slowdown?
Yeah, we're seeing house price falls. Prices have been falling for 4 months now, and it's all to do with big increase in supply of property, up by 14% in the last 6 months, and demand having fallen by 8%, and that's putting prices under downward pressure.
How much demand is there out there right now?
There is demand for housing out there, but I think we've seen quite a strong pickup in the market in the last sort of 18 months or so. That was always going to falter when the election came and the talk of the spending cuts came through. So sentiment's negative on the market at the moment. A lot of people out there could buy. There's not very, there's a lot of people out there without a mortgage or a small mortgage, and they're now waiting to prices to adjust to a level where they're prepared to come back into the market.
You quite rightly point out that we just had the biggest programme of spending cuts in decades here in the UK. Does that mean that we can expect further price falls in the run-up to Christmas in the first half of 2011?
Yeah, I think prices are going to keep falling for the next 6 months or so. We expect prices to be down by about 2% year on year at the end of 2011. But I think we're not going to see the sort of level of price falls that we saw in 2008 because prices are already trading off a relatively low level compared to they were at the peak of the market in 2007.
And when can we expect to see more of a recovery, solid signs of a recovery?
Recovery in the housing market is all about starting to see a pickup in the economy, employment growth. Obviously, we don't want a big increase in interest rates any time in the near future, but I think prices are going to track sideways for a while to come before we see any sustainable recovery in the market.
Talk about falling prices in the UK. Always important to make that distinction between house prices in London and then outside of London as well. There is a huge discrepancy there, right?
There is, and a lot more equity in the London market. And I think, when the recovery does come, I think London, the South East, will be the first to recover, and then that'll then spread out to the rest of the country. But it could be, some years to come before we see any real sustainable recovery outside London.
Well, great to get your thoughts on that. Hometrack's Director of Research, Richard Donnell. Thanks very much.